Hello, good evening. A teenager has been arrested on suspicion of the murder of a 16-year-old boy in Islington. Police were called to Seward Street on the 20th of December, where they found two boys with stab wounds. Jamali Samba Baibu died at the scene. A second boy was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. A 16-year-old boy has been arrested and is in custody. Boxing Day sales began yesterday, and after 2 difficult years with the pandemic, high street retailers will be hoping for a bit of festive cheer. And despite the rising cost of living, initial figures show London's recovery could be underway, as Callum Watkinson reports.
With ever-increasing competition from online stores, a pandemic hangover and an extra-large series of rail strikes, retailers in the West End had downsized their expectations for a Boxing Day bounce, but they were gifted something better.
It was steady, but then in the afternoon it was exceptionally busy. There was a hell of a lot of people down here, so there was a lot of tourists, which was good. But yeah, it was nice. It was nice because it was almost pre-COVID, so the way things should be.
And that is reflected in yesterday's footfall, still a third lower than on Boxing Day 2019, but more than double what it was last year. A sign, say retail managers here, of both the strength of the West End and the ongoing recovery from lockdowns.
Before COVID and certainly during COVID, everything was online. We didn't get to come in and experience shopping with friends and going for lunch afterwards. So I think we've almost come full circle and really felt people wanting to come together again this Christmas.
Recovery in other UK cities has been slower than in London, which can still rely on destination shoppers from abroad, despite the loss of a well-known incentive. Retailers here in the West End are still campaigning for the reinstatement of tax-free shopping for tourists, a casualty of Brexit, the loss of which they say has driven visitor numbers down. The relative recent weakness of the pound against other major currencies, however, is thought to have had the opposite effect.
We've been walking since 8 o'clock this morning and it is fantastic. It's fantastic. This is what London is all about.
It's like a world famous city. We live in San Francisco, so it's another famous city for the kids to see.
To come out is just to come out instead of staying indoors and sitting in front of the computer, because I can never find the size I'm looking for.
It's been an encouraging Christmas for London's retailers, despite the train strikes. But they can't be sure the trend will continue if the cost of living crisis deepens alongside the dreaded January blues. Callum Watkinson, ITV News, Central London.
Bus drivers in London are striking again today in a dispute over pay. Unite members who work for Abellio on routes in South and West London have walked out. The strikes will continue to run throughout late December and into January, including New Year's Eve. Nearly 60 bus routes, including a school route, will be affected. Unite says support for the strike is growing.
If you want an indication of how determined our members are to carry on until they win, union membership has increased during the period of the strike. So, if anything, the support for the strike, the strength of the strike is increasing. And that tells you an awful lot when people are prepared to join a union so they can specifically go out and strike.
There were delays at Paddington Station today after engineering works overran this morning. The first trains of the day were unable to leave on time, meaning the following services were delayed. It comes on a busy bank holiday for the station. Network Rail has apologised to customers. The NHS is appealing for more plasma donors in London. It's released a video today showing a mum meeting the woman whose donations saved her life.
Plasma was the only way to get me through my pregnancy and ensure a safe delivery. That's the truth of the matter. Without it, I wouldn't be here now and I wouldn't have my baby.
Corrine Johnson is a regular donor who helped Lauren Abbey through her pregnancy. There are currently 2,000 active plasma donors in London, but the NHS needs around 4,000 to meet demand. Let's have a look at the sport now.
Xero Accounting Software sponsors ITV Regional Sports Report.
In the Premier League today, Chelsea are playing Bournemouth. It was a dominant first half for the Blues, who scored twice, including this shot from Mason Mount. He's only just returned from England's World Cup squad in Qatar. The second half is underway and the score is currently 2-0. And in League Two, Leyton Orient played Stevenage at home. It finished 0-0. Let's have a look at the weather now. Here's James Wrights with the forecast.
ITV London weekday weather is sponsored by Octopus Electric Vehicles. Car, charger and energy.
Hello there, good evening. After a bright start to the day, we saw lots of cloud build and eventually some rain. It's actually going to be quite unsettled as we head towards the new year. Low pressure dominating the weather across the UK, plenty of showers. If it's not showers, expect rain. Also, quite a lot of wind. Now, it is rather windy out there at the moment. We've got this rain band pushing across us. It will start to clear, but it just joins straight into the next rain band, so we don't really get much of a break from the wet stuff. Temperature-wise, we're looking at lows of 7 or 8 Celsius, so by no means chilly. The wind eases off a little bit for a little while, but it'll be back with us through tomorrow. So Wednesday already starting off rather wet. The rain will just wax and wane through the day, so it won't be heavy all the time. It'll get drizzly for a while before it gets heavier once again. You can just about see the back end of that system. I don't think we'll see any brightness before the sun goes down, but it is going to be quite mild, 11 or 12 Celsius. Just breezy enough and wet enough not to make much of a difference. A brighter day on Thursday, some good sunny spells, a risk of a shower, but still feeling rather breezy. Have yourself a good evening.
ITV London weekday weather is sponsored by Octopus Electric Vehicles.
Nina Hussain is coming up with the ITV National News now, but from me and the rest of the London team, goodbye.